Hello, it's time to party with Word Project 38. We're drawing a map. Well, Ben and Syria are planning their party at their new beach house. Since most of their friends and family haven't visited him in the new house, Ben decides to create a map and put it inside the party invitation. He's going to make the map with Word's drawing tools. Let's get started. Step 1. Open Word Project 38 from the folder containing your data files and save it as Invitation 2 with your initials. Already done. Step 2. Use lines, shapes, and text boxes to create the map in the lower left corner of the invitation as shown in the figure below. They've given us a picture of the map. They want us to duplicate it. First thing you want to do is insert your text box. Like we did in the previous lesson, we will draw it. When you're ready to draw your text box, you see you have some crosshairs for your mouse cursor. And we want to stay away from the bottom margin and the left margin. We want to stay in the white part of the ruler. So we're going to come in the bottom left corner. That's going to be our lower left corner of our text box. And we're going to come over here and just go up against this other text box. See, we're not running into it, so we're not going to have any problems covering things up. I could probably make it even bigger. Pretty good. So there's our text box. We want to put in the title, map to the beach house. And you always want to let people know what your address is in case they want to put it into their GPS. That should be Calibri 14 points and bolded. Now let's start to draw in the roads. And you're going to use lines and an elbow connector. So we're going to go to Insert, Shapes. There's the line. There's the elbow connector. So, line. The nice thing about these shapes is you can adjust them after you've drawn them. I can make this longer, or if I want to move it around with the arrow keys, I just select it and then tap the keys. So there's my first line. Insert, shape, elbow connector, and you click for the first point. You decide where you want it to finish at and make your second click. We're not clicking and dragging. Now we'll make another line, and the tops look like they're about even. This bottom one goes down a little bit lower. Now I know this isn't exactly like they had on the picture, but we might make a few more adjustments. Matter of fact, I'm going to move these two over. Click once, hold down Shift. Now I have both of them selected. I'm going to arrow over. Let's draw that star. Insert, Shape. There's my star. And here you actually can click and drag until it's the size you want. You see the shape styles up here. Needs to be center gradient. So it starts off shiny in the middle and then expands out from the center. And it's accent number 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to make that a little bit bigger for the star. Is that about right? Maybe a little bit too big. You know, while I'm working on this map, it's going to make it a lot easier if I zoom in as big as I can. That way I have more control over my mouse movements. Okay. Ooh. Now we need to put in the labels for the streets. Those are all going to be text boxes. It says create all street labels in text boxes with no outline, no fill, and Calibri 10 point. So insert text box, draw text box. Just going to draw it here. And we're going to start off with Ocean Boulevard. Let's make sure it's the right font. It's Calibri 10 point font, not 11. And let me show you what happens if I were to just leave the regular text box like that. Two things. It has the outline, which we would want to fix. No line. But you can still see that even though there's no line on the text box, it's covering over the line there. So once again, right click, format text box. And I already fixed the line, so there's no color. But right now it's filling with white. The middle of the text box is a white color. There's no color at all. Now your text box is transparent, and you can see the street behind it. Let me make sure my text box is big enough. If I make it too small, it cuts my words off. Now I can use my arrow keys to put the street where I want it. So once my text box is just the way I want it, I can copy and paste it from my other ones. That's not what I want to do. Let's do it up here. This one is going to say Beach Street. Move it down here. Then I want one that says 1090 for our address. That's getting annoying. Every time I click out of my text box, it puts my cursor up there. Now I need to make some text that goes up and down. Let's make the first one Sunny Drive. To make it go up and down, go to Format. There's this button that says Text Direction. Click that. See what it does. Click it again, and now it is pointed the right way. We will put that into position. Now, when you're going to try to move these text boxes, you need to make sure that your cursor is giving you the move picture. And now, to do my other vertical ones, I'm actually going to copy this text box. Since it's already set up with the correct text orientation, I'm going to Control C that, and then Control V. Get Sunny. Well, it should say Shady Lane. And it tried to bump me down to a second line because my text box was not long enough. There we go. And it appears this elbow isn't quite long enough. That's better. We'll move Beach Street over. And down. Ooh. paste once again for Highway 7. Make sure that I have my crosshairs. There. Now we need to put in this compass rose in the bottom left. And they say to search your clip art using the keyword north. I've tried that before and that does not work for me as well. So I just typed compass in and that gave me the right one. So we'll put that in. We'll shrink that down. And you need to right click, format picture. Well, you need to right click and change the text wrapping. Text wrapping needs to be in front of text. Let me X out here, zoom out so we can see where we're putting it. Okay, now I need to zoom back in and do this tough part here. This is one of the more challenging steps. Need to group all the elements of the map except for the clip art. Grouping is handy when you're making something like a map and you want to be able to move everything together without having the different pieces come apart. So you first need to get everything selected that you want to group, which can be a challenge. Just remember that as long as you see your crosshairs, that it's ready for you to select it. So let's start off by selecting my lines and my elbows. And we'll get the text boxes. This whole time I'm holding down Shift so I can add new objects to my selection set. Get the star, get that. Now I need to make sure my cursor is in that move position again before I right click. I'm ready to right click, grouping, group. Now if I did this correctly, I should be able to just click one thing and move my entire map around. That grouping is really handy. Well, our map looks like it's done. Let's zoom out, admire our work. And I never said to take the border off our text box, so we'll leave that on. Well, there we go, Ben. That's a nice looking map. Now hopefully people will be able to find their way to your house.